All right, guys, it is Thursday. It's time for some maths. Y'all know what we're doing by now. It's more equivalent lengths. We're carrying on with our little measurement topic. It's going to keep going up until we go back into class. I think that's when it'll stop, when we go back to class. As long as we go back when we're supposed to go back. We'll see. Anyway, today, equivalent length is slightly different than yesterday's, and I haven't changed it on here. So annoyed. Basically, yesterday we did meters and centimeters. Today, it's supposed to be centimeters and millimeters. Ugh. Can't believe I forgot to do that. Sorry about that, guys, but it is centimeters and millimeters. Today, basically, if you know that 10 millimeters make up a centimeter, you're in a good place. Okay, that's the one thing we need to remember for today's lesson before we get going. No flashbacks today. I think we'll do them again tomorrow, Flashback Friday and all that. So we're going to get on with a couple of little thinkers to get us going. And the first one, we haven't done one of these for a little while, is an always, sometimes, never. So there's a statement. You have to tell me whether it's always true, that's always a fact. Sometimes that happens, or never, that's completely false, no chance. So the statement today is millimeter lengths are smaller than centimeter lengths. Is that always true, sometimes true, or never true? What are you talking about? So have a little think about that one. It's a little bit of a puzzler. Maybe do some examples if it helps, and decide whether that's always true, sometimes true, or never true. You can pause the video, have a little think about that one now. All right, so to start off with today, we were doing always, sometimes, never. You got a statement. You had to say whether it was always true, sometimes true, never true. It said millimeter lengths are smaller than centimeter lengths. What do we think? I think it's sometimes true. Sometimes. The reason I say that is because, we know that 1 millimeter would be smaller than 1 centimeter. We know that 2 millimeters would be smaller than 2 centimeters. But if we had 30 millimeters, that would be longer, that would be bigger than 2 centimeters, wouldn't it? So in that case, the millimeter length that we've got, 30 millimeters, is longer than 2 centimeters. Okay, so that's what you got to think about. I think sometimes is the answer for that one. Moving on. Okay, a little bit of a sorting activity. This one, I picked this one to do today because this looks like one that could easily be in a maths test. Where you get a little table with 2 headings and you have to sort out some numbers, or in this case some lengths, and you have to put them in the right one. Sometimes when people do this, they put them in both and just think, well, I'll probably get it right if I put it in both. No, that means you get it wrong. You have to choose which side, which column, which box the lengths go in. So for this one, it's obviously about lengths because that's what we're doing. We've got longer than a meter or shorter than a meter. Okay, and then you've got your 6 lengths at the bottom. I'll read through them quickly and you can have a go. We've got 1 meter 65 centimeters. We've got 165 millimeters. We've got 165 meters. We've got 165 centimeters. We've got 16 centimeters 5 millimeters, and we've got 1 centimeter 65 millimeters. So you need to put them, the 6 of them, you need to put them in the 2 boxes. Which ones are longer than a meter? Which ones are shorter than a meter? Pause the video, have a go at that now. All right, so longer than a meter, shorter than a meter. And I quite liked this one as well because the lengths all have the same sort of digits in them. You've all got 1, 6, and 5. So it's really important that you check the unit of measurement. You check whether it says meter, centimeter, or millimeters. So the first one, 1 meter 65 centimeters. Well, that's obviously longer than a metre. Put that one in that side. Next one, we'll do 165 millimetres. That one would be shorter than a metre. Millimetres, very small, aren't they? We've got 165 metres. Well, that must be longer than a metre then. We've got 165 centimetres. That one is longer than a metre. That one's actually the same. It's equivalent to the one above it. Because remember, 100 centimetres in a metre. Next up, we've got 16 centimetres and 5 millimetres. That one would be shorter than a metre. And then we've got 1 centimetre and 65 millimetres. That one's shorter than a metre as well. What that one actually is, they put 65 millimetres there. Really, that would be 6 centimetres and 5 millimetres. So you'd actually have 7 centimetres, 5 millimetres. It's still much shorter than a metre. There we go. So hopefully you got that one out. Done. Moving on, a little bit of Powermath style stuff now. Like I said, there was some meter stuff in those thinkers to get going, but today's Powermath stuff is going to be mostly centered around centimeters and millimeters. So remember, throughout this, 10 millimeters make a centimeter. So Lewis, what's he doing? He looks like he's been doing some sewing, like a bit like what we were doing. That seems like a long time ago. Lewis has finished his sewing and has some thread left. It's that little bit there. It's that purple bit of thread. There it is. Which ruler should Lewis use to measure the length of the thread? So it's up to you. He's got centimeters on this ruler and he's got millimeters on this ruler. Which one would you pick? And I'm going to do both these together today because they're a bit shorter. And how long is the piece of thread? So you decide, are you picking centimeters or millimeters for Lewis's thread? And how long is it? 2 questions to have a go at. Pause the video, have a go at that now. All right, so Lewis had a bit of thread left. We had to decide what ruler he should use to measure it and also say how long his thread was. You can either use centimeters or millimeters. However, it says on there he could use either. I feel like that's a bit of a cop-out from the cat. I would use millimeters only because you can be more specific, I think. Like if I was going to do that, it'd be 24 millimeters. I think you'd use that one. You can use both because look, it goes onto both rulers, but I would use the millimeters if I had to pick one. And that's kind of what they asked you. They said, which one would you pick? And then they've said, oh, you can pick both. Nah. I'm going millimeters, 24 millimeters for the thread. There you go, I've told you how long it was as well. 24 millimeters. Or if you want 2.4 centimeters, I'd use millimeters. There you go. 24 millimeters, that's what we've got. What they're showing there. So, oh yeah, so there you go. There it is on the ruler. They've done some place value counters for that one. And what they've done, which is quite nice here, they've said they've used the tens. So that's how many millimeters. So you've got 10, 20 millimeters, which actually makes 2 centimeters. That's quite good. Quite like that. And then over here, we've got 20 millimeters, 4 millimeters, 24 millimeters. That's what we said. All right, we're moving on. What are the missing measurements in these sentences? So Lewis is there again. I think he's got some more. He's got string this time. Don't know what he's making. A, the blue piece of string is how many millimeters long? So it shows you them there, but then you have to change it to the other one. So it's telling us in centimeters and millimeters for the blue string. We just want millimeters though. Okay. The red one, it's telling us in millimeters, but it wants us to do it in centimeters and millimeters. And okay, so then you have to pick for C. It's saying that one color of string and another color of string are both equal in length. So which 2 pieces of string are equal? Even though they might not be written the same way, which 2 pieces of string are equal? Then for number 2, same sort of thing. We did one of these yesterday. You have to convert. You have to change centimetres and millimetres to just millimetres, or you have to change just millimetres to centimetres and millimetres. All right, have a go at those, 1 and 2, and then I'll come back to tell you the answers. Pause video now. Okay, so Lewis and his string, you had to, it's to do with converting and switching them from millimeters to centimeters. Remember, 10 millimeters in a centimeter. All right, so the blue one, the blue piece of string is how many millimeters? They told us 3 centimeters and 1 millimeter. That's actually 31 millimeters. 31 millimeters for the blue string. The red one, they told it us in millimeters. They said it was 66, but we needed to say in centimeters and millimeters. So it's 6 centimeters. 6 times the 10 is 60. So 6 centimeters and then another 6 millimeters long as well. So 6 centimeters, 6 millimeters long for the red one. And then you had to say which 2 pieces of string are they equal in length. Maybe you just looked at them. It's the blue one and the yellow one, because we'll see that 3 centimeters, 1 millimeter is the same as 31 millimeters. So the answer for that one was blue and yellow. All right, the little chart at the bottom, the example, 2 centimeters and 9 millimeters is 29 millimeters. Next one, we're switching it that way again, 8 centimeters and 4 millimeters. So in that one, you should have put 84 millimeters, 84. The next 2 you have to do the other way. So we've got 60 millimeters, but in centimeters and millimeters, that would be 6 centimeters and no millimeters. Just that you put the 0 in, 6 and 0. And then for 9, you tried to trick us a little bit here, 9 millimeters. So in centimeters and millimeters, that would be 0 centimeters. Doesn't even make a centimeter because it would have to be 10. So 0 centimeters and 9 millimeters. They tried to trick us. I'm sure they didn't trick you. All right, good stuff. Okay, so this one, I'm not going to do any answers for this one. This is one to have a go at yourself with it's just a little bit of ruler practice, and it's just drawing lines of these lengths. So first one, 5 centimeters, 8 millimeters. B is 102 millimeters. C is 10 centimeters, 3 millimeters. And D is 13 millimeters. Remember that 10 millimeters equals a centimeter. I'm sure most of you have got rulers. If you haven't got a ruler at home, please don't worry about it. Just miss that one out. Okay. Please do not worry too much if you haven't got a ruler. If you want to nip out and get one, I'm sure you can get one in an Asda or a Tesco. But do not worry too much about going out and buying a ruler at all. If you have got one though, have a go at drawing those lines. Oh, and like the cat says, be accurate, be really close, especially when you're dealing with millimeters, because they're so small. You have to look very carefully, make sure you've got a nice sharp pencil to do it, and have a go at drawing those lines. I'm not going to show you the answers for that, because then it'll just be me drawing lines. So just have a go at that one. You can pause the video now. All right, hopefully you got some nice straight lines there. Can't hurt to practice using a ruler. I remember from class when you just had to underline something, it was all wibbly wobbly. So hopefully you're getting a little bit better at using that ruler as well. Okay, so moving on to today's Powermath stuff. It's the next 3 pages, obviously, all about your centimeters and millimeters today. It's 95, 96, and 97. Hopefully they're the right 3 pages. If it's not, just do the next 3 pages. Give yourself the usual amount of time on it. Don't worry too much. Yeah, have a go. People seem to be doing really well with this measurement topic so far. People seem to be liking it. So just keep going with it. It's going to be a similar sort of thing tomorrow as well. It'll be the next 3 pages, obviously, in your Powermath book. So good luck with that. Thank you for joining me for some maths today. Hopefully you'll join me for a little bit of a Zoom later on. I'll see you all later.